Life for All presents Daily Food Series, The Gospel of John, Word, Life, and Edification, Part 2. Title of Book 6, Resurrection, A New Day, A New Beginning, by Pedro. Week 3, The Resurrection of Jesus. Sunday, Reigning with Jesus in Glory. Read with prayer. For it was fitting for him, for whom are all things, and by whom are all things, and bringing many sons to glory, to make the captain of their salvation perfect through sufferings. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 10. Upon appearing to the disciples after the resurrection, Jesus even showed the marks of the wounds on his hands, feet, and side. However, although in some way that body carried with it marks of Jesus' human suffering, it was no longer material, but a resurrected body, capable of movements that transcended the material world, such as appearing and disappearing at will. This is the type of body we will receive in the future, during the millennium, when we will reign with Christ over the nations. When he created man, God predetermined that, although lower than the angels, he would be crowned with glory and honor. Hebrews chapter 2, verses 6 through 8. Because by creating him in this way, God could dwell in him. Man is the only creature with the image and likeness of the Lord. Man is a vessel that has a human spirit and soul. Therefore, he can receive and contain God, who is Spirit. However, the power belongs to God and not to the vessel. God does not want a man with a lot of external capacity, because the one who is truly capable is already inside the human being, the believer. After the death and resurrection of Christ, God, with his power, has given him the place to dwell within us. We do not need to seek power or ability, for God lives within us and works through his word. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 9. When Jesus was resurrected, God begot him as the firstborn son. He, who was previously the only begotten Son of God, became the firstborn son, because through him the Father would beget many children, including us. His intention is to lead these many children to glory. Hebrews chapter 2, verse 10. How intense will the glory be in each of us? As we read in 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verses 35 to 41, in eternity, when we have resurrection bodies, the intensity of glory in each one of us will be different. What will define the splendor of each one's glory? The way he lived here on earth, whether or not he was faithful to God, whether or not he did his will, how much he allowed the divine life to grow and the truth to be worked in him. Therefore, when our life on earth ends, the opportunity to acquire more glory also ends. We can only change this process during our human lives here on earth. Therefore, let us persevere in loving and serving the Lord and in inculcating the word in our hearts, in order to be constituted by the truth and useful in his hands to carry out his will. All of this will determine the splendor of our glory in the future. After the Lord's resurrection, we see the disciples' reaction upon meeting him. Now Thomas, called the twin, one of the 12, was not with them when Jesus came. The other disciples therefore said to him, "We have seen the Lord." So he said to them, "Unless I see in his hands the print of the nails, and put my finger into the print of the nails, and put my hand into his side, I will not believe." And after 8 days, His disciples were again inside, and Thomas with them. Jesus came, the doors shut, and stood in the midst and said, "Peace to you." Then he said to Thomas, "Reach your finger here and look at my hands, and reach your hand here and put it into my side. Do not be unbelieving, but believing." And Thomas answered and said to him, "My Lord and my God." Jesus said to him, "Thomas, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen, yet have believed." John chapter 20, verses 24 through 29. Dear reader, it is better just to believe. Some still need to see to believe, but if we are simple and obedient, we will see the fulfillment of the word. If we believe, God will use us as the four living creatures to do his work. This passage also gives us another warning: the importance of not missing meetings. Thomas did not witness the first appearance of the Lord after his resurrection, as he was not with the other disciples. Let us not miss the meetings, because in them the Lord appears and speaks to us. In conclusion, let us read, "And truly Jesus did many other signs in the presence of his disciples, which are not written in this book. But these are written that you may believe that Jesus is the Christ, the Son of God, and that believing you may have life in his name." John chapter 20, verses 30 and 31. Just believe. Write the sentence that touched your heart the most. Highlight the key points in this sentence. Pray according to the content highlighted above.